every Sunday I want to make pancakes and bacon and eggs for like brunch.
Nice.
That'll be like my Sunday tradition.
That's fun. I like that.
That is fun.
My Sunday tradition is turning into a giant monster bird and fighting in the war. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Nostalgia Club.
Season 4 recap.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's Jino.
And that's Michael.
And we're joined once more by...
Victoria.
Oh, gosh.
This is part 2 of our Season 4 recap. We're going through the second half of Season 4, starting with Mulan and ending with the last one. Madagascar. Talking about things we missed or things we said wrong. Or if you wrote into our email account at nostalgicpodcast@gmail.com, we'll talk about that too.
Or if you commented.
Thank you to everyone who left comments or emailed us. It's really, really cool to hear about your takes or your stories, or also really helpful when you correct us, because we are but humans and we are trying our best. First up is Mulan.
Yay!
Yay!
So for Mulan, I actually do have an interesting question that I wanted to ask you guys, because in that episode, we talked a lot about your Mulan theater experiences.
Oh, yeah.
But I also wanted to briefly read some comments that we've been getting on our reel that I posted about Cheng, because I think some of them are funny. So if you don't know, on Instagram, we've been posting some reels of clips from like our episodes. And one of them was particularly funny because we're talking about how Cheng doesn't put on a shirt for like all of Be a Man. And then also Michael comes up with this amazing rendition of Be a Man, where it basically just ends in something, make some soup. And so someone said, yes, make some soup. My favorite line of the song.
Literally just my brain shutting down in real time. That's all that was. Since you made that reel, though, and I watched it, it did occur to me the statement of like, he's not wearing a shirt the whole time. Even when he goes to talk to Mulan and say, you got to leave the army, he's not wearing the shirt. And I thought to myself, and I was like, you know what? If the boss had been not wearing a shirt the whole time, and then the moment he comes up to me, like alone in person, he is wearing his shirt,
Something's
I'd be
wrong.
like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think it was a de-escalation technique, ironically enough.
My glistening abs are a de-escalation technique.
Someone said, who was going to stop him? He was top of command in that unit. I mean, true.
That's true.
Practical.
Someone
Go to
said,
HR.
to be fair, if you had a figure like that, why would you put a shirt on if you didn't have to?
I knew some
truth.
guys in high school who had this exact same mindset.
Yeah.
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 Someone said, we love a bisexual king who's confident in his own skin.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Anyways.
does Mulan.
And
Anyways,
so
thank
does
you
Mulan's
for-
grandma.
Thank you for commenting. We love reading your comments. It's very fun for us.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. Okay, but my question was, since we talked so much about theater experiences, I was curious if you had any other fun theater experience stories to share. I will briefly share mine, because mine is not very exciting, but because
Don't
I didn't
say that.
Well, I didn't have any Mulan experiences.
It doesn't have to be
talk about.
Mulan to be
No,
exciting.
that's what I'm saying. This is my opportunity now to share non-Mulan related theater experiences. So when I was really young, my school was putting on a production of Honk Jr., which I don't even know what it's about, but
What's
I think
Honk
it's
Senior?
I think it's about ducks, like baby ducks.
It's about the ugly duckling.
Oh, okay. I think Michael, you also did this in your school, right?
I also did honk.
Yeah. Were you in it?
I was in it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so my mom was like, oh, well, Victoria sings at home and she's pretty good, so maybe I'll bring her to auditions. I don't remember this at all, by the way. So this is all based off what my mom told me. Apparently, I got up there and just was frightened and stood there for like maybe a minute or 30 seconds, and I ran off stage, and that was the end of my theater career.
Oh.
But now you're an actor.
Sort of.
Yes. What do you mean? Hire Victoria to be a voice in your podcast.
Yes, you should.
I guess I technically did have other theatrical experiences because I would be a part of church plays. So that's how I kind of got over a little bit of stage fright. Yeah. I don't know. I was just like very afraid of like being on stage as a kid. And then once I got into late elementary school, I started being like, maybe I should try. Like maybe I should at least like audition for like next year's spring musical or something. Because at my elementary school, every year there's a fall and a spring musical. So I was like, I should just like go for it. But then I changed schools in the middle of 6th grade. So I actually never got a chance to audition. And at that point, then it was like starting from scratch. Well, also this school didn't really have much of like a theater program because it was much smaller.
Yes.
So they didn't really have annual productions. I don't think I would have auditioned anyways because I was a brand new kid at the school and I was like super shy. So that would have been a lot for me. But,
yeah, it's a big hurdle.
Yeah, but it's okay. Looking back, like that's one of my like small regrets where I'm like, I kind of wish that I had at least tried to like be part of a theater production. But then I also think about how much time you had to spend at rehearsals. Because I was in pit orchestra and we had to attend a lot of rehearsals, but not as many rehearsals as the people actually in the show.
That's right. You told your whole like pit orchestra experience.
I think so. The main highlights were I was always disappointed that I was in the pit, so I couldn't watch the show. Because I guess I was lucky that I had any vantage point at all because most orchestra pits are under the stage, so you can't see anything. But I was like at the very edge of the pit, and ours was like in front of the stage, so I could see the 2 furthest corners of the stage. And anything that happened in those 2 corners, I was like, yeah, I can see those. But anything else, I was like, I don't know what's going on. The other thing was one year we did Fiddler on the Roof, which is one of my favorite musicals. So I was majorly disappointed that I couldn't see that because I was like, dang. But because we were in the orchestra, they offered us a chance to audition to be the fiddler. I guess that would have been my one chance to be on stage. But at that time, I did think about how many rehearsals you'd have to attend. And I was like, no, I'm okay. Because for that one, you would not only have to attend the pit orchestra rehearsals, but you would have to attend the regular theater rehearsals. And I was like, that's a lot. And also one of my friends in orchestra like desperately wanted the role and had like practiced all summer for it. So I was like, you should get it. Like, you deserve it. But anyways, in Fiddler on the Roof, if you haven't seen it, there's like a wedding scene and there's this very iconic bottle dance.
Oh, yeah.
Where the dancers put glass bottles on their heads and they do a dance. And then the whole thing is you're supposed to not drop the bottles, obviously. But they were dropping bottles basically up till opening night. And when they drop the bottles, it's always right near the pit. So we were always sitting there being like playing, but also being like watching to make sure like we keep an eye on if the bottle falls into the pit or not. Luckily it didn't. But in previous years, props had fallen into the pit. Like one year, this was before I was in school, but one year they did Brigadoon, which is like a pirate musical.
I think Brigadoon is a Scottish.
Oh, I don't know anything, guys. I've never seen it.
You know more than I do.
Is it?
Listen to Ghost Inspectors wherever you get your podcasts. 2 detectives must solve their own murders, written by Victoria Cheng.
Oh, okay. That's my bad. Brigadoon is a musical about 2 Americans who stumble upon a mysterious Scottish village that appears for only one day every 100 years. That's cool.
For what it's worth, you hear Brigadoon and you're like, that
I did think it was about pirates.
Piratey.
Well, the reason I thought it was about pirates is because apparently there's like daggers involved. So like people were like throwing daggers on stage and they're obviously prop daggers. So like they're not sharp, but one of them fell into the pit during one of the days of production. And I guess because of like the angle and also like falling from like a height, it did hit someone's leg in the pit and they started bleeding.
Oh,
but they didn't tell anyone. They finished the song and then afterwards they're like, hey, so I'm bleeding. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, like we need to like get you first aid. Another year before that, a woman went into labor in the middle of a show in the audience.
That's wild.
So that's why like we were anticipating like an event, you know, because it's like theater superstition or whatever. There's always like, we were like, something happens every year. Nothing happened when I was in orchestra pit. So I guess it just bypassed, but I thought it was funny. Luckily, the first day they didn't drop the bottles was opening night.
Did they drop them any other night?
Nope. Oh. And after that, they didn't drop it. But like every rehearsal up until opening night, they were dropping them.
Extreme pressure makes you perform wonders on stage.
But the reaction that everyone made when they successfully completed it was genuine. Like we were all like, yeah. I mean, I wasn't. I was in the pit. But like everyone on stage who was reacting was like, whoa. Because we all knew.
So much pressure.
Yeah. That would stress me out. Anyways, that's the extent of my theater experience.
Wow. All I can think of is something falling into a tuba and then comedically getting blown out over the audience.
It's possible, yeah.
No, all the prop daggers.
No, it's like, unfortunately, like any of the players who are like near the edge of the pit, so like myself and like the person who got hit the year before, I think, was a bassist. We were extra worried because we were like, it's going to fall on us. We're going to keep an eye on that. It was fun. Even though I'll never know what those productions look like. I don't even know what the stage looked like, guys.
Wow. There's no recording or anything?
Nope.
It's wild to think of. Like, I was a part of this whole thing. I have no idea what it was.
Yeah. No, genuinely, I couldn't even tell you, like, what the stage looked like. I mean, I probably, like, saw 1 or 2 set pieces.
That'd be like sound designing an audio drama, except it's not an audio drama, it's a movie. But you only ever listen to the audio. And then at the end, you never know what the movie looks like.
Yeah. Anyways, do you guys have any other fun theater experiences that you want to share?
I did theater I did musical theater when I was younger, before I became so stressed upon entering high school that I backed out of musical theater.
Oh, no.
But no, I had fun stories, especially when it's like kids theater. You get fun instances like that time I played Bill Sykes and had to intimidate a Nancy who is easily twice my height and like several years older than me. So that's very fun. Similarly, when I did Honk and I went to audition, I also had incredible stage fright. I think my voice teacher knew at least someone who was involved with the production, and so they helped me.
You got nepotismed in.
Yeah.
Well, they coached me out of the bathroom where I was having my panic attack.
You got nepotismed out of the bathroom.
I got nepotismed out of the bathroom. And then I gave an audition that wasn't just like,
Yeah.
And it was good. And it was a really lovely production.
Nice.
Yay. And that could have been me. Okay.
I also did, and this might come up again depending on if we ever do this, but I did a High School Musical.
Oh.
What?
I was just a basketball player in that one.
Basketball. Have you
And-
guys seen that video?
Oh yeah, the like bad lip reading basically. Basketball.
Basketball. We love basketball.
That one was interesting. Well, number one, small, thin, pale little child who's supposed to be a basketball player does not sell. Thing number two, I think they had parents to do some of the like makeup and whatnot. And nothing against this mom. She was doing her best. But she made it her personal mission to ensure that nary a freckle nor blemish could be seen on my very Irish Jean's face. And so when you look at like the production stills from it, and this is a memory seared into my brain from many years ago, the fact that I was completely blanketed with makeup combined with the stage lights made me look like an actual ghost. I was pale as a sheet.
This ghost is playing basketball. Isn't that more interesting than anything else that's happening here? No? All right, Troy, get back to it.
So things like that, really.
Can't believe you guys were theater kids.
Ugh.
You can't believe
No,
that?
I'm kidding. I can 100% believe it.
Anytime anyone says, I can't believe, I just think of that Pro ZD sketch. Wait. You won't believe.
Shout out to Pro ZD. We're big fans. Our next episode was Howl's Moving Castle.
Ooh.
That's right. We did. We did watch Howl's Moving Castle.
With its endless merchandising opportunities.
Indeed. I don't really have a lot to follow up on besides it's a great movie. I have been eating a lot more bacon and eggs recently.
Nice.
So thanks, Howl's Moving Castle, for that. I just decided...
Hey, thank you, Miyazaki, for inventing bacon and eggs.
I just decided, like, every Sunday I want to make pancakes and bacon and eggs for, like, brunch.
Wow.
And that'll be, like, my Sunday tradition.
That's fun. I like that.
That is fun.
My Sunday tradition is turning into a giant monster bird and fighting in the war. And maybe I won't make it back, but I don't really care about that because my heart's been shattered.
Not just shattered, it's just gone.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the state of it.
Oh, that's true. No, you
Christopher
do.
does.
You know, you see it every day.
Oh.
You have conversations
Did I
with
watch
it.
this movie?
You have conversations with it about the political state of the world.
That's true.
That's kind of real.
Yeah.
My Sunday tradition is cursing young women to turn into old crones because I didn't get the hat that I wanted, and also they're assisting my ex.
I don't know if it's cruel if I'm comparing two fictional characters, but the evil witch in Howl's Moving Castle is how I picture Mrs. Tifton from the Penderweeks.
What?
Oh my gosh. That's horrifying.
I picture Mrs. Tifton way differently.
Well, not like in physicality necessarily, but in like
Personality.
presence and vibe.
The Witch of the Waste is very terrifying, and anytime you interact with her, she just like wants to bring you down, which is kind of Mrs. Tifton's vibe.
But much like in the Penderwicks, the big scary evil lady becomes significantly less big and scary over time.
That's true.
As you realize she's only human.
I have so many thoughts about Mrs. Tifton. No, actually, I don't actually have that many thoughts, but I do think she's a lot more funny in the last book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we keep jumping ahead to the Penderwicks, but
we're really excited
about
the
Penderwicks.
Well, I've got nothing left for Howl's Moving Castle if we want to speed along.
Let's move on to the Golden Compass. I do think it would be cool if we did a separate episode just about the show.
I'd be down.
Because I am curious how you guys will like the show. Although the tricky thing with the show is because they did fold in events from the second book, then I would recommend you at least read the second book before you watch the first season of the show.
So what you're saying is we got to read all the books and then watch the show.
I both want to do another episode and I also don't want to, just because it gets really like complicated in later books, which I think is really interesting to talk about, but I also don't know if I can properly articulate and analyze everything that happens in these books.
We can try.
We can try, yeah.
And we can capture the episode we tried to warn the listener.
Yeah. I just think the series is really fascinating, and it's one of those books, like how in the last episode, Michael, you were talking about how like the Goose Girl is nice because you can just read the single book and you don't have to get necessarily invested in a whole like broader context to understand it. I think the Golden Compass gets better once you've read all of the books. Yeah. Because like we talked about in the episode, also shout out to Isabella, who was our amazing guest on that, the book and like your understanding of dust is just scratching the surface. And it's like what we learn about dust is like technically just what other people think they understand of dust. You will learn more about how like the world actually works in other books, which is why I think like it's so interesting. The first book is introducing you to concepts and also introducing you to the idea that like even the characters don't understand this concept. So you're kind of like going on the journey with them.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to read the others.
Let's do it.
I did have an interesting revelation, I don't know, maybe it was a few weeks ago, where this is a bit of an non sequitur it'll sound like, but bear with me. I was at the office working late one night when my eyes beheld a monstrous sight. No, that's the Monster Mash intro. But I was on the computer and it was quite late. You know, it was getting closer probably to midnight. It was, 10 something. And I'm just plugging away. There's no one in the building. I think it's like a Saturday too or something, or even a Sunday. And out of nowhere, I hear a quiet little knock at the door. And I'm like,
creepy.
Huh, that's interesting. It was a quiet knock. And I was sort of like, I don't hear anyone saying anything. I have, the studio monitors playing. So, the light's on. Someone knows I'm here. And I was like, this is silly. This is probably nothing. And I think I heard a second. And I was like, all right, it's fine. I'm sure it's normal, whatever. And I stood up, and instead of opening that front door that we have, I went through the annex to the other door.
That's smart.
Because in my little cautious brain, I went, okay, on the off chance that it is someone with ill intent, or maybe it's some inebriated patron of an adjacent facility, I will at least be able to have some distance from this person when I go to see who it is and can retreat into the safety of the office behind an inch of plywood should it need be. And so I open up this sort of other door that's a little further down the hall, and I look to the front door, and who do I see? But Jino!
Oh.
Jino himself, who simply had forgotten his key, left his key behind in his car, but just needed to grab something from the office.
Surprised me with that twist.
Yeah, no, you remember that, right?
Yeah, no, I do now.
That was not the twist I was expecting at all.
The moment I saw Jino, I knew I was cooked. Because as a listener may remember in our Golden Compass episode, Jino pegged my potential demon to be a meerkat.
Oh, yeah.
You did what a meerkat would have done.
I went, there may be a predator outside of the nearest hole. I'll go to one of the adjacent holes elsewhere on the savannah and poke my head out and check.
That's awesome.
So
I'm glad I could enlighten you,
yeah,
maybe?
No, I think you were
Why
spot
are you guys
on.
at the office so late is my question.
I was just trying to grab something, right?
Yeah, you're just there to grab something. I just have bad habits.
Well, hooray!
Hooray!
It was me. I was the monster.
No,
all along.
not a monster at all. Just what was your demon that we decided on? Was it a mouse? I think it was a
yeah.
I
mouse.
think it was a mouse, yeah.
And then Victoria's...
I think we said like a puffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all small and live in holes.
Docile creatures.
I was like, where is this going? But like you said, it would seem unrelated at first.
Yeah, so a payoff there, I think.
Fantastic.
That was great. Afterwards, we talked about Little Women.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do another Penderwix episode,
Yes.
but I keep seeing more Little Women references in it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And now that I understand the
Now
references.
that you understand the references. This is like how I realized the other day that the second Percy Jackson book is just basically the Odyssey. But I didn't know about the Odyssey before I read Percy Jackson. But now that I've listened to Epic the Musical, which I know is not an entirely one-to-one adaptation of the Odyssey, I just want to throw that out there. But then I realized like, oh, he goes to Cersei's island and he meets the like Cyclops.
Scylla and Charybdis.
And I was like,
And the sirens.
And the
I understand. Because
And
I
the
was
guinea
like,
pigs.
I was talking to my friend because like the new Percy Jackson series is coming out soon. And I was like, I don't remember anything about this second book at all. So I need to reread it. But then she was like, oh yeah, like I remember the Odyssey stuff. And I was like, oh, like I just had never clicked until that moment. Anyways, that's my fun side tangent.
My favorite part of the second Percy Jackson book is when he gets home and kills all his wife's suitors.
That was a big twist. Yeah, he had a wife this whole time. And he was the ruler of a small island?
Yeah, really something. He had a
Yeah.
son.
He had a son, but they modernized both the axes with a pistol through Axe body spray. Very, very cool and hip in 2000s.
Oh my gosh.
But Victoria, you said you watched Greta Gerwig's Little Women
yes.
again.
Okay. So after we read Little Women and then talked about it on the show, I was just in a big Little Women kick. So not only did I rewatch the PBS Masterpiece adaptation of Little Women, but then a couple days ago, I also rewatched Greta Gerwig's Little Women. And I don't think I have like any particularly exciting revelations to share. Like I didn't suddenly, like I still agree with everything I said in that episode. I guess like some reflections, the PBS Masterpiece show focused a lot more on the romance than I remembered. It just shows that like one of the biggest points of contention in any Little Women adaptation is like the romance aspect, which is like, okay. I just still love the PBS Masterpiece adaptation because the characters feel so real and it's like beautifully shot and like the actors do a fantastic job. Like one of my favorite scenes is like right before Meg's wedding. It kind of mirrors the opening scene or one of the opening scenes when they're helping Meg and Joe get ready for the party. And it's like a mirror of that where they're like all chatting and laughing and like helping Meg get ready, and it's very nice. And then like Marmee walks in and then she has to step out because she is about to cry.
Aww.
Marmee, I think, is like, she's so well rendered in that adaptation as well. When I say like they upped the romance, it's in particular there's one scene where like Joe and Laurie actually kiss.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Which
Big
doesn't
departure.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in the books. There's like a moment where like I think Laurie says something like, I'll always be by your side or something, and then he like leans forward to like kiss her and she doesn't like pull away, but afterwards she's like, let's not do that. She's like, she basically like says like, please don't do this, like let's just stay friends. And so then like Laurie backs off, but then there's still like the big like confrontation scene. So I was just kind of like, because I think the way that they portrayed it was like Joe is like kind of likes Laurie, but also doesn't know if it's like romantic or platonic, which is like fair. I think maybe there's a little bit of that in the books. So then I rewatched Greta Gerwig's adaptation, and I'm really glad I rewatched it having just read the book, because I do remember like when I watched it for the first time, I hadn't read the book quite so recently. Because it's like a non-linear timeline, I was like, whoa, this is different than I remember. The main difference in the Greta Gerwig film is it starts with all the March sisters as adults. So it starts with Jo at the publishing office, and then it shows Amy in Europe, and then it shows Meg at home as a mother, and then Beth.
And she shows a gravestone.
No, at home. This is before Beth dies. But I understand why they did it, and I also saw a really interesting video, which really hit me, which someone said the reason they start with all the March sisters, you meet the March sisters separately because at that point, they're never all together again, which I didn't even realize. It didn't register to me until I saw that, which is as soon as Amy leaves for Europe, they didn't even know. But that was the last time all 4 sisters were together in the same room, which hurts. It's so sad.
But don't, at the very end of the book, they're all together again, right?
Except...
But Beth's not there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael, you can't forget Beth.
Maybe if she made me a pair of mittens, I would remember. But no, it's got to go to all the little children, all the little school kids on their way. I want mittens too.
So I think what I picked up on a lot more in this rewatch is that Greta Gerwig was exploring mainly the key theme of moving on from childhood. People have talked about how the flashback scenes are in much warmer colors. There's much more, and it's much more of a vignette style, which is similar to the book where it's just and then we cut to the sisters doing this, and then we cut to another scene where they do this, and blah, blah, blah. It goes from the scene where all the sisters go to the beach with Laurie and his friends, and then it cuts immediately to, it's a match cut to just Beth and Jo at the beach. So it's directly making you feel oh, it was so good back then when all 4 of us were together and it was the carefree days of youth, and now it's everything is sad. So that was very effective and evocative, but I also just kind of missed getting to draw those conclusions myself without the movie saying one-to-one, this is related to this. The party that Jo and Meg go to in the early chapters of the book is directly linked to the party that Meg goes to with all of her rich friends. And then it's directly linked to Meg's marriage. It's just here's all the stages of Meg struggling with comparing herself to her peers. But, it was a good movie. I still disagree with the ending, which is the biggest reason why I wanted to rewatch it, because I was curious if I would like the ending differently. I fully understand. I think it's really interesting that they did address the potential pressure that Louise May Alcott felt about marrying Jo off to someone. But I just don't like how they changed how her relationship with Professor Bear actually happened. Because they sensationalize it in the movie to be oh, and then she ran after him at the train station. They kiss under the umbrella. And I was but that's I don't know. I think they could have done both. I think they could have said, hey, maybe Jo ending up with this character wasn't actually what Louise May Alcott would have wanted, but her relationship with Professor Bear has some merits as well. I don't know. In conclusion, no matter how many times you read or watch Little Women, there's still much to be interpreted and things to think about, which is why I think this book never gets old for me.
Nice.
And for many others, too.
Sorry,
Well
I was
said.
just yapping.
No, you're good.
That's what this episode is.
We're just yapping.
Yeah.
My question for you then is, do you think that comparing the 2 movie adaptations, or the visual adaptations, Greta Gerwig versus Masterpiece, was one created for an audience who didn't necessarily know the story of Little Women?
Oh, okay. I actually did think about this because I think Greta Gerwig's is absolutely made for people who have read Little Women. Because they start the movie with Jo in her life in New York. So she's selling her stories to the publisher, and then you also see some of her interactions with Professor Bear. So you meet Professor Bear before you meet Laurie, which is interesting. But then when you cut to Amy, she's in Europe, and then she has this big scene with Laurie where she reunites with him for the first time. And she directly says hey, I'm really sorry about Jo. I can't believe she turned you down. So it immediately breaks all the tension of will Jo end up with Laurie? Which at first I was that's an interesting choice, because that's the main tension of the whole books, basically, is the audience is always is Jo gonna end up with Laurie? But then because Greta Gerwig decided to just remove that entirely at the beginning, I thought was interesting. And then I was like, I think it's like, she's just like, most of the audience watching this is going to have watched Little Women. So it's like fine if like I just say it right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was an interesting choice.
So the intent between the two adaptations was different.
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig was saying, I am commenting on the institution that is the story of Little Women.
Yeah.
Whereas the masterpiece was saying, here is the story of Little Women.
Yeah. I do think Greta Gerwig's Little Women is much more an exploration, not only on what like it's not just about the plot. It's about like
the ideas.
It's analyzing itself.
Yeah. Again, I don't think all of it works for me, but I do respect that she did that.
Especially because it's been a while since I've seen it.
It's been a while.
and I forgot that aspect. So I guess, I mean, you're exactly right. It removes that tension and it completely decenters the question of romance in the nature of the plot. So what you're paying attention to.
It's basically like, it's no longer about who is which sister going to end up with. It's like,
what are they going
They already told you. Like, I didn't even realize that this scene with Amy and Laurie was so early because it's so obvious that Amy is in love with Laurie in this first scene. And also in all the other scenes where Amy interacts with Laurie, they make it very much more obvious that Amy is in love with Laurie. Like pretty much anytime he's in the room, she's like, when she's a kid, she's like, wow, Laurie's here. And then all the other scenes, which I also still have a problem with, like, for example, they changed her like foot molding scene. In the book, she's like, I'm going to make a mold of my foot for my father. And then in this movie, it's, I'm going to make a mold of my foot for Laurie. Like, it's always all about Laurie. Which I
don't know if Laurie's beating the allegations with.
Well, I just think
this girl I know gave me a mold of her foot.
I wish that their father had more of a role in Greta Gerwig's movie. He's like basically not there at all.
He's basically there as like a concept.
But not even. They hardly referred to him.
But he has like this one scene where he comes home.
He has the scene where he comes home, but like it bothers me because it's like non-linear.
Yeah.
But before he comes home, even in the scenes that technically happen after he comes home, he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
In the scene when like Beth is dying, it shows like Meg, Marmee, and Joe all sitting by her bedside. And their father is not there. Because then the next scene is him coming home after Beth gets better to like mirror like, oh, Beth was better and then she's now not doing well. So again, like I get, like I understand, but I like missed that.
I think it's fascinating that the movie was ostensibly made for you, someone who really loves Little Women. But me, someone who before watching the movie didn't know anything about Little Women, really, really liked the movie. But you, because of your context of it.
Maybe I'm wrong that it was made for Little Women. I don't know.
Like, it must have been.
No, it obviously was. Yeah. Like, obviously, like, Greta Gerwig herself is a fan of Little Women.
Yeah.
So
if it had been made for an audience that didn't know Little Women at all, it would have been like the masterpiece version, which is just like, here's the story, so you get all the context. But Greta Gerwig is expecting you to already have the context, is going, let me do my cool puzzle move on the story.
Yeah. I will say, like, there were certain scenes that were in Greta Gerwig's version that weren't in the masterpiece version that I was just, like, happy to see on screen happen. So one was the scene where Joe goes to the publisher and he's like, you got to, like, edit out these things in your story. It's too long. Make it, like, sensational and snappy or whatever. And then she has the conversation where she's like, my friend wants to know how much you pay. And he was like, well, tell your friend that normally we pay. I remembered it directly from the text when I rewatched it this time, so I appreciated that that was included. Another one was, again, like, I still stand by the fact that the Greta Gerwig film made me understand Amy much better. And on this rewatch, I understood her even better. And I was glad that they included the scene where Amy basically lectures Laurie. In my opinion, the one downside to the masterpiece version is Amy and Laurie's relationship is the weakest.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I saw the last episode, as you might recall.
I also was thinking that the fact that they show Amy first as an adult, I actually think helps the audience like her more. Because if you start with Amy as a kid, then you will definitely be biased like Joe is, where you're like, she's kind of annoying. But instead you see her as an adult where she's like grown up and she's still got like childish aspects to her. She's still quite young, but like you just like meet her not in the context of her sisters.
You meet her in a very fancy time.
Yeah, no, I think this movie highlighted more of like how Amy's relationship with her sisters and like her position as the youngest affects not only how the reader interprets her, but also how Amy like feels about herself.
Yeah.
It's very much a Joe and Amy movie, is what I was realizing.
Well, that was a really great analysis.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Now,
yes.
I want to watch the Greta Gerwig movie again myself.
You should also watch the PBS Masterpiece one because I'm curious about your thoughts.
Yes, I will watch the PBS
once again, my
one.
ploy to get all my friends to watch all the things that I've watched so I can talk about it.
I mean, that's kind of what this whole podcast is about.
No, that was great. Salient analysis.
Thanks.
And certainly stuff we didn't have time for in our original Little Women episode because, boy, there was a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's really great things in all adaptations of Little Women. And I think it's cool, like we said in the episode, that different generations or just different creators can interpret Little Women differently.
It's our Odyssey.
It's our Odyssey. I was actually thinking like Little Women as a podcast would be pretty cool.
I mean, it's in public
It is
domain,
public
right?
domain.
I know you mean audio drama, but all I'm hearing is like modern day Little Women in which Joe March decides to
Make
become a
podcast?
podcaster.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's all told in an epistolary fashion. You're listening to the fictional Joe March podcast.
And you'd only have to cast one person.
Oh.
Unless you want like the other sisters intervening at various
Yeah,
points.
sister's guest on the podcast.
You know what? I like this idea a lot.
Wait, what?
Lock it down, lock it down.
I do kind of.
We did it first.
Because-
Timestamp. Hello, editing Jino here. It turns out the Little Women audio drama already exists. It's called Little Women, a modern audio drama. And you can find it on the internet. And I don't know anything about it, but it looks pretty good. So, yeah.
Well, because then, you know, when she meets Mr. Bear, naturally, she's going to be like, you should be on my podcast. And that's when we'll hear her talk about her friend, Mr. Bear. And then in like a future
The
episode.
audience will be like, does she like this guy?
And then he'll be on the next episode and we'll get like an interesting tete-a-tete between them.
Ooh, wait.
Why do I like this
We're
more
cooking.
and more?
This is exciting.
We're cooking.
This is good.
It's public domain.
I mean, you could.
It's public domain.
Victoria.
Write in if you want to.
Well, don't
Write in if you think you could play Mr. Bear.
Anyways, there's like more Little Women adaptation stuff I could go into, but I won't.
Well,
Okay, briefly, I will just quickly mention there's this K-drama that's also called Little Women that is like so remotely inspired by Little Women that it's like almost doesn't matter. Well, they did only do 3 sisters because I think they're just like, we're just going to combine 2 sisters into one. So it's like about these 3 sisters and just about like their unfortunate life situations. Like they grew up pretty poor and then they get entangled in like this like crazy cult.
Oh,
Yeah.
So exactly like Little Women.
I watched it because I was like, oh, it's called Little Women and I liked Little Women. And I was like watching it trying to like piece together what like the threads of inspiration were. And like a lot of people online have talked about it and they're like, yeah, like this character is kind of like Joe's character because she's a journalist. And so she like, and I was like, but I kind of don't get it. So that I don't really have that much to say about it except like the show itself is interesting.
okay.
But I don't know if I can say that it's very directly inspired by Little Women.
What if it was just called Little Women without any intent?
I think like the main thing is like the one aspect of the March family, which is like they're a poorer family that's just doing their best to like get through life together. That's echoed in this K-drama.
Okay.
Sorry, back to Greta Gerwig. My one nitpicky complaint is I don't think they look poor enough. I was like, their house is like so decorated and fancy looking,
It is
and like
very
their
pretty.
clothes. You notice that like Meg is wearing like the same dress to parties, but aside from that, I didn't pick up on any like major like socioeconomic differences between her and her friends. Because they removed the scene where they're like, Christmas won't be Christmas without presents. I mean, they have it, but like, it's more like, oh, Marmee decided we shouldn't have presents because like our soldiers are at war. So like, we should also like not have presents. And it's less about like, we can't afford presents. I don't know. Like, I was just kind of like, eh. Okay, let's move on. The next one is the Penderwicks, which again, we're not going to talk too much about because we do plan on doing a whole other episode. As I mentioned, I desperately wanted to read the rest of the books, and so I spent basically 2 weeks like hunting down any copy of the next Penderwicks books that I could, which ended up being 2 ebooks, 1 physical copy of the 4th book, and then I listened to the last one.
I had a similar adventure. I had 2 physicals and 3 ebooks, one of which I ended up buying because I was so desperate and I couldn't find it. This was also years ago when I went through a similar rigmarole of like, how do I get a hold of the Penderwicks? How do I borrow these books from the library? And the last one I just couldn't borrow anywhere, so I just bought it. Yes, we're going to talk about all 4 books.
Yes.
Books 2 through 5 at once. Michael, get reading.
I still got 3 to go.
Do you have any predictions, Michael? You read the second one, you said. I'm just curious, because I think it'll be fun if we like have predictions, even if they're like completely wrong, and then we can look back on it.
It feels like such a different experience, though, because you know that they're inspired by Little Women and like
Okay, but to be fair, I knew that, and I still was like, I don't know what's going to happen in this last book at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like,
Fair.
I really was like, I know that she's heavily inspired by Little Women, but like the characters do feel distinctly different enough that I was like, I don't know. Like, so that's why I was like, I need to know what happens in the last book because I seriously have no idea and I have to know. Like, I just need to know.
How old did you say Batty was by the last book?
Batty's 19 in the last book.
Okay.
Batty is 5 in the first book, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just check something here.
Are you doing math?
My prediction is based off of preliminary research here that by the last book, Batty gets a motorcycle, and I know that Hound dies, so she gets a new dog, and she gets a sidecar for that motorcycle, and she drives that motorcycle around as her primary mode of transport, because after all, she does have that wagon that she carts around, and that seems like the natural upgrade for someone who would so willingly go and march off into the woods and or go to her neighbor's house to spend time with the baby.
You're not right, but you're not wrong. It's sort of scary how accurately you predicted elements of the last book.
Really?
Without being entirely correct.
Huh. That was a shot in the dark.
Fascinating. Do you get what I'm saying?
With the motorcycle?
Yeah. And the sidecar and the dog.
This is so fun for me because it'll make sense eventually. Real quick, book 2, I really appreciate how Jane has a semi-deified, pseudo-religious relationship with a rock. There's a boulder in the woods, and she worships it a little bit.
You know what kid hasn't done this?
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah. I once had a shrine in my backyard. To who? We don't know. But there were trading cards of the Monsters vs. Aliens DreamWorks movie in that shrine, and I don't know why.
Huh.
And I don't think I knew why at the time either, but we made it and we did it.
Wow.
I don't know if we were trying to kill them or summon them. Anyway, tune in for our Penderwicks episode.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Read the book so you know what we're talking about.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. TMNT. We had one dangling question from the TMNT episode. Michael, have you decided on a favorite turtle?
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Favorite
He's
turtle.
like, I haven't thought about it.
All I've thought about in reference to that episode is, man, I wish I had made so many jokes about the presence or lack thereof of the Twin Towers. It was just a thing for me watching those movies back to back and getting skylines of each and being like, well, very present in one, distinctly missing in the other. That is the nature of the beast, I suppose.
Management wants you to find the difference between these two pictures.
Anyway, it made for good book ending, I guess, whatever.
Favorite turtle?
Favorite turtle? Given my current context, I will say Michelangelo, which I think the both of you were kind of there anyway. I discovered a lot more love for Raph. Prior to that, he, in my head, was just, edgy turtle. But he cares.
He cares.
He's got a heart.
Yeah.
And he's got a certain kind of, spunk to him. Like when he's fighting all those guys on the rooftop in the 90s one. He's getting the absolute pulp beat out of him, but he's still got the moxie to be like, what else you got? Come on. I'm like, oh, I like this guy.
Yeah.
And then in the later movie, he's a little more edgy and emotionally turbulent, but the brother drama is still good. And yet, throughout both, Mikey. Love Mikey. So, yeah, I'd say Mikey.
A turtle adaptation is at its best when it can find real reasons to why the brothers are like that.
Yeah.
I think the 2007 one doesn't explain why Raph had an attitude before Leo left, but it really justified why he had an attitude after Leo came back.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was Raph, I'd be really frustrated. I'd be like, our older brother who's supposed to be our leader just went off to South America and disappeared. and like now we're just supposed to wait for him?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
And,
like
like,
if he decides to do something with his life, that shouldn't affect my life.
Yeah, like he's been trained his whole life to be a ninja,
Yeah.
and then suddenly he's told to get a 9 to 5. Like, I'd be mad too.
Yeah.
Especially if I was told, no, Leo has to go by himself to a different country somewhere in the jungle to learn how to be a better leader. I'd be like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why are we all going?
In the 1990 version, they're sort of just presented as is, like, oh, Raph is attitude, to quote the song, and Mikey's a party dude. Like, there's no, like, explanation to why, but at least in the 2007 one, Leo and Raph's personalities are given some sort of justification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Donnie's just a nerd, and Mikey's just here to hang.
But, like, Mikey, his storyline of, like, missing his family, because he's such, like, a carefree guy, like, seeing him be sad about his family being gone was like, no.
He does have the most, like, younger brother energy.
Yeah.
Like, he really wants things to, like, quote, go back to the way they were, but his older brothers are, like, moving on too fast.
Yeah.
So tune into the Penderwicks when we analyze what it's like to have 3 siblings.
A lot of siblings.
And a dad.
And a dad.
Are the Penderwicks TMNT? Quick, we gotta tag them.
Okay, Rosalind is Leo, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sky is Raph.
Easy.
Yeah.
Matches up. Donnie is Jane and Mikey is Batty. Done.
Yeah,
Done.
okay, yeah. It's pretty 1-to-1 almost.
Is there some kind of archetypal thing we could...
I mean, if you go into it, you could be like, well, birth order. Like, everyone talks about, like, oldest child, youngest child, middle child syndrome.
There's got to be some way we could monetize this analysis.
Which okay.
A hero with 5
when we get
faces.
to the Penderwicks, I think there's so much, like, depth and nuance to, like, how the sisters, like, grow up and, like, who they become just based on, like, how old they were when, like, certain things in their life happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
So
good.
good.
It's so
Okay.
good.
Sorry. We're jumping too far ahead. Anything else about TMNT?
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, dude.
Cowabunga. Sorry I gave you the worst pizza.
I've had
It's all
worse.
good. How do you guys feel about pizza in general?
I have eaten a shocking amount of pizza in my life through a variety of circumstances, some of which I'm not in control of. You know, I love a blank canvas. And I think, I'm going to say it, sauce is the most important part of a pizza. I love sauce. I love a good sauce. Honestly, if you take the dough and cheese away, I'm happy with that pizza.
Just sauce.
Just sauce.
Just sauce and toppings.
Sauce and toppings. Give me a spoon. That's soup, baby.
Yeah, a little bit.
And we love soup here on Nostalgia Club.
And or a very unique pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
I like pizza. Yeah, sure.
No, I was just curious because I was like, I think some people are like, yeah, like I love pizza. Like I'm always craving pizza. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, do I crave pizza? I sometimes crave pizza.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A really, really good pizza is really, really good.
Yeah.
But a just okay pizza is still pretty good.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's at like a social function where the point is hanging out and there could be the most basic crummy pizza on the table and you'll be like, pizza. But if you're talking about like for example, when I was in college and I was like getting home like late and it was like, okay, the pizza places nearby, the like, you know, where you can get all different kinds of toppings and stuff are like open relatively like late. I can go in and get like a personal pizza and I would want it to be, you know, to have all the, I wouldn't necessarily want to just get something that is an approximation of cheese and bread.
I do love a personal pizza. Like we didn't have like pizza places like Blaze or whatever when I was growing up. So when I got to college and I was like, oh, you can have a pizza that you just choose all the toppings?
Yeah, it was just like Domino's growing up.
Yeah.
But even Domino's is great. People rag on Domino's, but like it's tasty.
We had a place called Papa Murphy's. They make the pizza for you and then you take it home and bake it. So it's like fresh.
Oh.
Yeah, like Costco used to do before they betrayed us.
Yeah. So I really like that. However, my only thing was growing up for like most of my childhood, our oven wasn't the greatest. So our pizza always ended up a little bit underbaked. So I didn't like that. Because I was like, I like the crispy crust.
Yeah.
I love a good crispy crust.
Yeah.
With lots of sauce. And maybe, you know, you don't need the cheese and you just do more sauce. And then like, you know, the crust would get soggy underneath. So you got to put it on top and that's crouton and it's soup.
Everything just comes down to soup.
I do want pizza.
Sorry. Okay, let's move on from
I'm getting
TMNT
pizza after this.
Oh, yeah, that's
Mamma
true.
mia, baby.
afterwards, we talked about Shark Tale.
We have been inundated with Shark Tale memes by the algorithm and also Nikki.
Yeah. Nikki, I think, has opened up a world for us that we would not have accessed, not only without watching Shark Tale, but without having Nikki there with us to talk us through like the post-mortem.
I've been getting so many TikToks of the like, nobody loved me when I was nobody. I did.
It's good.
It is good.
No, it's so good. And the like edits that people make, like, so I sent one to Jino and Nikki that was like with ramen. And it's like basically like this guy, like it's like a conversation between a guy and like two types of ramen. One is like Shin ramen, which is, I guess it's like the more popular brand nowadays. A lot of people really like Shin ramen.
It's get like the Shin ramen black with like that black garlic oil in it.
Yeah. And then it's like really generic, like nongshim
chicken ramen.
Like they're really like back when I was growing up, like that was pretty much all we had was like
top ramen.
So then it's like
or
basically
Maruchan.
a conversation between this guy and like two types of ramen, and like the old ramen packet is like,
nobody loved me when I was nobody.
And the ramen packet is like, I did.
Okay. Favorite flavor of ramen? Like not ramen in a restaurant, like instant ramen.
Like brand?
Just flavor.
Well, my favorite brand of ramen is Jin ramen. Because, okay, so Shin ramen is good. I just think it's like a little too spicy for me. So I like Jin ramen. I like the texture of the noodles more or something.
When Parasite came out, I was like, oh.
Oh, I made so much of the like chapaghetti and
What's it called?
Is it?
It's jampong, but they don't call it that. What do they call it?
Neoguri? It's neoguri and basically like a jjajangmyeon, like instant jjajangmyeon version.
Yeah.
And then you mix it so that like it's basically like jjajangmyeon, but it's a little bit spicy because you add in like the neoguri packet and then you add steak.
It's like Korean fast food before McDonald's got over there and ruined everything. That's another fine. It's Korean Chinese fusion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a black bean noodle that's kind of like wok fried with like ground pork and stuff, and then it's like a spicy thin seafood broth. That's kind of like an udon, but then you order both of those together.
That sounds good.
And then you get a plate.
It's called like chapaguri because it's the brand of like jjajangmyeon, instant jjajangmyeon.
Chapaghetti. It's like spaghetti.
Yes, it's called chapaghetti, and then you combine it with neoguri, so then it becomes chapaguri.
Yeah. When we ordered so okay, here's the
I made
when you go to
this
the
so much in
restaurant,
college, guys.
No, this is great.
you go to the restaurant, you get jjajangmyeon, and then you get jampong. And those are the two noodles. One is soupy, one is sticky, and then you get a plate of deep fried sweet and sour pork.
Oh man!
And then you got a little dipping sauce, and then you get a little plate of raw onions with vinegar in it, and then you eat all of it, and then you feel like you're gonna die because it's too much food.
Oh, now I want
But
this.
then in Parasite, they make it with steak because it's basically like rich people can afford steak, but they also still want to eat instant noodles. So it's like a play on like the class struggle of like, you take something that lower income people can afford, which is like instant noodles, and then they want to make it bougie, so then they add steak.
Yeah, it's Hanwoo. It's like Korean Wagyu, but it tastes more like American Black Angus. So it's like basically putting Wagyu on your butter noodles.
Yeah,
is the American equivalent. What were we talking about?
Shark Tale.
Shark Tale. It's pretty good.
Let's move on to our last episode, Madagascar, which we talked a lot about.
We did talk a lot about Madagascar.
I think we covered a lot of our bases.
And that's it. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
So if we did as previously described in our season 3 recap, a party where you make all the dishes of a movie, then eat through it during the movie, Madagascar would be like a zebra. You have to get a zebra, right?
Well, first you start with a rare steak. You'd start with
a completely rare steak.
Did we make this joke
tartare
already? I'll make it again, right? Rare steak and like maybe like an energy drink and an Alex the Lion themed bottle and some like burnt seaweed, a lot of drugs. A big thing is like pineapple,
some sort of equine, but only a bite.
Only a bite, yeah.
You'd have to drink salt water. They do drink salt water. Well, no, they don't drink it. They just swish it around and spit it out. And then fish at the end. Second movie.
This
is almost worse than Shrek.
Is the fruit hat. And you have to wear it for a long time.
Yeah, it's basically just a fruit basket you get a hold of.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything else besides just being a fruit hat. There's no other message behind the fruit hat. Yeah, you're just wearing it and it doesn't mean anything.
Nope. No, it's just a funny joke.
Yeah. Yeah, and your dad doesn't get you, but he will.
He will. Yeah, he just has to, like spend time with you, see any context, and then it'll click.
Yeah, he'll acknowledge the fruit hat first and be like, why are you wearing that? But then over time, he'll come to understand that you are the fruit hat.
Yeah.
This is what a lot of Michael and I's conversations are like when you're not here, Victoria. It's just us like doing one long convoluted bit and neither of us know how to stop.
Okay, I'm a little glad I'm not here for that. No, occasionally, now that I work from home, my social
I thank
battery
my
is
lucky stars that I don't have to be around.
No, I miss being here. I mean, I don't miss being here working, but I miss just being around friends.
Well, how do we recover from this?
Wait.
Wait?
Yes. I do have something.
Oh, okay.
I had told Victoria earlier I came across a revelation. It's not huge. For all I know, you both basically are already here, and anyone who's listening is already there as well.
I just realized Alex is gay.
Oh, that's what the hat means. That's what the hat means. I didn't realize. This changes everything.
Remember at the beginning of Madagascar 3 when they had the heist planned in the casino?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We laughed over the fact that like they're arguing over who's going to do the Mission Impossible descend from the ceiling on a rope, and Gloria walks over the skylight and just immediately falls through it. It just buckles under her weight and like they all collapse through.
Yes.
And it was a hilarious joke. The reason it landed so great is because
they didn't land great. They landed pretty heavily.
Yeah, it was bad. But the reason the joke hit so right is because the Madagascar series has spent the last like 2 movies. Victoria's fully zoned out.
Sorry.
Madagascar spent the last 2 movies just like giving us cartoon physics.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like a crashing plane can just be pulled up just in the nick of time like it's nothing. And
it's the one time we have full realism.
Victoria's gone. Victoria
has left the building.
I sniped her.
You read me so hard. Normally when I zone out during podcast recordings, it's fine because I usually like recover.
Well, normally when I make a bad joke, you at least like give me like a pitying like, ah. But I looked over at you and you were fully staring at the wall.
It wasn't subtle. It was, your face was completely neutral. Like your jaw, I think, was a little slack, and you were just like gone.
Yeah, like a very small smile.
Jokes,
yeah, you were literally NPC mode, like waiting for someone to activate you with dialogue.
Victoria didn't ask for this roasting of her zone out face, but we're doing it anyway.
I wouldn't be doing it if she wasn't laughing so hard.
I didn't realize it was so obvious. I thought I was hiding it well.
Anyway, that's all I got. It was just because they had done cartoon physics like nonstop for the past 2 movies, and then they just played it straight for like a minute at the beginning of the 3rd movie just for a joke.
God, such good bits.
Yeah.
Even if, listen, the writing, Madagascar, maybe not the best, but the bits excellent.
Are good.
What were you thinking of, Victoria?
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
In deep contemplative thought. Seemed important.
No, it's not. This is so embarrassing. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to us yap more about the episodes that we talked about last season. And we will be back very soon with season 5, which we were very excited about already, as you can tell. If you like this episode, consider following us, giving us a rating. It really helps us out. You can email us at nostalgicapodcast@gmail.com with your questions or suggestions. You can also leave us a comment on Instagram at nostalgicapodcast. Or if you want to learn about our other shows, you can also follow us at MouseKnight Studios on Blue Sky, Tumblr, and Instagram. I'm trying to get better about not doing like a really long-winded social plug for our episodes. We hope you're having a good day, and we'll be back.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And until next time,
zone out. Until next time,
your friends are talking.
Until next time, just zone out. And then when you get the podcast notification that we're back, you can zone back in.
Oh dear. I just want to say that most of the time I do really like your jokes. It's just sometimes I don't have the energy.
Listen, I understand. We've been in this hot room for like 5 hours. You got to go somewhere. I got to use the bathroom. Michael's got to eat 2 more gummy pizzas. We're all having a time here.
Oh my gosh.